Welcome, Virgo and Virgo cross watchers, to your new moon in Pisces reading. So I hope you guys have had a great week and that you have a good weekend coming up. I did pull out the two new moon in Pisces cards from my Moonology decks. So it says attune to the divine and meditate and contemplate. And then I did pull an overall energy for you here, and it's hunger or wolf moon. So Virgo, this might sound strange, but I feel like recently, it could be around the time of the wolf moon, but I feel like something seemed to happen here that was unexpected. It feels like it was not unexpected necessarily, but it's like something happened that needed to happen, but I feel like you're looking at it like, did it have to happen so soon? Did it have to happen that way? You know what I mean? It's like there's just something about the mechanism of that thing happening that seems to be a little disorienting. It's almost like it's making you look at the world differently. It feels like it may be bigger. I almost want to say it might be a little bit bigger than you want to admit to yourself, at least initially. But I feel like the longer you kind of settle in that energy, the more you kind of accept that whatever happened actually was a big deal to you. It feels like it was... We are going to get some clarifiers. I mean, obviously, based off of what this wolf is doing, it feels like there was some sort of injustice, but it's almost like the result or the conclusion to a situation, you know it needed to happen. You know that it was a necessary, end result. But the way that that you got there, or the way that the situation came to what it needed to be, it kind of feels like a little bit like somebody tore your heart out of your chest. So can we get some clarifiers here? Six of Cups, Four of Swords. Hold on for a second here, Virgo. Can't pick up these dang cards. Yeah, I feel like it's something that, again, needed to happen. But it feels like it's almost like you may have known, or you may have started to feel like you were holding on just a little too long. It's almost like if ever you have, this might sound strange, okay, but it's like if ever you have waxed yourself, it's like you've put the wax on, and I feel like you knew that it was going to hurt, so you didn't want to take it off. And I feel like, and then someone came along and took it off, and you're like, oh, yeah, okay. But it doesn't make it hurt any less, I mean, obviously it's something bigger than that, right? But it's that kind of a feeling like you weren't ready. So can we get a card for, where's Virgo? Where were they? Why was Virgo... Hold on for a second. It's not so much that you were in an energy of like wanting to deny that it was happening. Sorry, I'm just going to get a drink of my coffee here. But I feel like you were denying how much it was going to mean to you, because you knew it had to be eliminated. You knew it had to be... It's almost like, I don't know if you can see, but it looks like this King of Cups is actually floating on a throne out in the sea, and it's like you knew you had to kind of cut the rope to the dock. And it's almost like you seem to feel that the emotional reaction, it's like if you just kind of ignored it, that maybe it wouldn't... It's like you might have other things to look forward to, or it might just kind of You might be able to think yourself, or no, that's not right. You just didn't want to acknowledge that it meant that much because you knew you had to let it go. And where's Virgo headed? So where are they now? Where's Virgo now? Where are they headed? What does Virgo need to know about where they're headed? Oh. So, where you are now is the Nine of Cups with Temperance, and where you're headed is the Eight of Cups. So, Virgo, I definitely feel like it's like you're going to be taking the high road here. I feel like I almost want to say, there may be somebody here that's a bit callous about the situation. It's almost like they seem to have no understanding, empathy, sympathy, whatever you want to call it, for the hurt that you've experienced. It's like maybe they also knew that it was necessary. So it's like they either are just being a bit insensitive, that like, oh, why would it be hurting you, right? It could be that it's like they're so glad that whatever that is gone. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to think about it. They just want to focus on moving forward. And I actually feel like it's causing a lot of distance between you and them because they're being really insensitive to how you're feeling about it. It's like just because it was a necessary loss, just because you know it had to go, doesn't mean it makes it any easier to release it. And I feel like you really don't like the way this person is acting. It's almost like they're, I don't know how to describe this. It's almost like they're being a little bit selfish, acting like it's like almost the energy of someone that's rubbing it in. You know what I mean? But it's like as soon as they do that, I feel like they back off immediately. But it's a little bit of like a holier than thou, see, I told you so sort of, you know. It's almost like they feel that now that this other element is out of your life, that of course you'll have more time for them. And maybe you would have, but their attitude sucks. And I feel like it's making you kind of just want to turn inward. So I feel like where you're headed, there's somebody here that's not going to get the offer that they want. Virgo, I feel like it could be this person, okay? I just feel like there's somebody here that they have certain expectations of you, and you're not really giving that to them. And it's not to stick it to them or for this reason or that reason. It's just like, for example, let's say you got out of a long-term relationship and it was a messy breakup or a difficult one. I'm hearing for some of you, it's like the two of you may have broken up, but you ended up having to live together for a little bit longer, or it's like there were things that needed to be, when two people are together for a while, their lives are intertwined. It's like there's things that needed to be unraveled. And I feel like as you unraveled things, this other person, it's like they wanted to come in and like, let's go out, let's go party, let's go this. And you're looking at them like, almost saying like something really important just fell apart. You know what I mean? Like it's just, they're really only thinking about themselves. So I feel like whatever this person thought they were going to get from you, they don't. And I feel like they realize they may have kind of jumped the line, or it's almost like they seem to feel like you're sending them away. I feel like this person is, they're a little bit self-righteous, okay? Hold on for a second. I'm just trying to feel if, like, if you're the cup person or if you're the one that's walking away. Virgo, I feel to a certain extent that it's like that actually somebody ends up walking away because you don't give them what they want. And I feel like you're not doing it to stick it to anybody. It's like you only have so much to give right now. You're rebuilding part of yourself, right? It's like that Two of Cups in love energy. It needs to be replenished. It needs to be healed. You need time to kind of like heal your soul. And this person just wants to kind of jump right in and insert their, you know, their wants and their needs and like, let's go have fun. And you're like, I need to sit here and feel these feelings. So I feel like this person realizes that it's like they kind of aren't going to get what they want here. You're not going to be giving them all of yourself, and they seem to take that as a complete rejection, right? That's not what it was. It doesn't feel like that's what you're intending, but it's like you're telling this person, this is what I can give you, this is my boundary, and I feel like they're taking it as a, almost as like you telling them that you never wanted to be with them in the first place. Deep, it feels like it's like a deep rejection that this person is perceiving from you. I feel like they may have been really supportive through this, like as things were kind of falling apart, but I feel like it's almost like they kind of thought that would rush them to the front of the line, or it's like they just kind of seem to feel like they were going to get something out of this and they don't. And it's like, and it's then when they don't get it, they also realize how unreasonable, how selfish it was to assume that that's what would be coming their way anyway. I'm having another deja vu. I've been having a lot of deja vus today. So what's going to bring Virgo some peace? So we got the Eight of Wands with the Lovers and the Eight of Pentacles here at the bottom of the deck. So, Virgo, I'm just going to sit with these cards to make sure I'm pulling out the right message. So if you guys don't mind to give me just a couple of seconds here. So I actually feel here, Virgo, that what will bring you peace is holding fast to what it is that you truly want here. I feel like there's going to be a ton of, it's like now that you're, you know, let's say you did go, it is indeed a breakup that the cards are talking about for you here. And now that's kind of opened up some space in your life, and it's like everyone and their you know, brother, mother, whatever, is going to have a freaking opinion about how you should be spending your time, what you should be doing with it, how you should be meeting people. It's like, oh, do this. Oh, my friend did this to find somebody. Oh, you should be doing this. Oh, you should be doing that. And I feel like it gets to the point where you just start tuning people out because everybody is just everybody and their, and I want to say like everybody and their person has a freaking opinion about what you should be doing. And to you, it just kind of feels like, it's like white noise. And I don't really see you having any intention of paying attention to any of that. I feel like you're looking at the situation like, it's almost this energy of maybe people are, hold on for a second. People seem to have a certain expectation of you that you're going to do this and you're going to do that. And it's almost like, well, to heck with that. That's not at all what Virgo is going to be doing. Thank you very much. Right? Because I feel like you're going to, even if you don't know exactly what you want in the next relationship, the next person, I feel like you're not caving to any kind of external pressure. It's like if people want to come in and think that they can pressure you, it's like, well, that's a really fast way for you to pick up the remote and put them on mute, right? It's like you're just not having it. I feel like whatever situation you've come out of, and then the person that may have been your main support was kind of, in it for themselves. Um, I feel like you're not really in a place where you are looking for, you're just not looking to live anybody else's truth right now. And I feel like it's like you can intuitively feel, and some of you might be externally rejecting this, but I feel like you know that there is somebody out there. I feel like you may be rejecting that idea or that concept right now because it's too painful to think about. Because I feel like to a certain extent you may be feeling almost like dejected, feeling like, why has it not been Virgo's turn yet? It's almost like, hasn't it been enough? Hasn't Virgo done friggin' enough? And I mean, listen, I don't have an answer for that. Those aren't decisions that are up to me. This may sound a little crass, but it's like that's above my pay grade. I don't know. I feel like you're kind of looking for a relationship. I mean, we're all looking for a relationship where we feel like we can trust somebody. But it's like whoever comes in is going to have to come in and take their damn time. You know what I mean? It's like the second somebody tries to rush you, the second somebody tries to come in with this BS attitude, right? Like they might as well have just kept walking because they're not going to get anywhere with you. It's like you have, and let me be real clear, Virgo, it's not, the cards aren't saying that this is a bad thing, but it's like your standards are high and, that's where they're going to friggin' stay. And I feel like you're in an energy where if somebody wants to be in your freaking life, then they better get their act together because it's like you're not giving your energy to just anybody. Like full stop. And it's almost this energy of you've had it, but not but your response to it isn't in an aggressive F everybody sort of way. It's in I'm going to accept people as they are. And if people show me who they are and it's not going to work for me, then like love and light, but get lost. You know what I mean? And I do feel like if you've been alone for some time, or if you are alone for some time, I feel like there's times where I feel like you are looking at your life like, well, maybe I'm just supposed to be alone, almost like I feel like if you're alone for a while or single for, a certain period of time, I feel like you might get to a place where it's like, there is this little vein of hope in there, but I feel like you might give up on it. And it's almost like it kind of ends up being, looking at like, oh, maybe you'll find someone, maybe you'll fall in love, maybe you'll this, maybe you'll that. I feel like you may know that hope is there, but it's like it's too painful to look at. It's almost like you can't bear it. I feel like you have experienced so many situations where, you thought people were going to be who they said they were, or it's like you thought that people would be different than who they ended up being. I feel to a certain extent it was for a lot of you, people treated you a certain type of way in the beginning to get you. And it's like every time it just kind of starts to degrade, right? And so I actually feel like you might be in an energy where you're not really in a place where you want to give your heart to anybody. It feels like it's just too painful to look at loving another person right now. So I feel like we're just gonna pull from a different deck and get you some advice, because I'm not gonna leave the reading there. Can we get some advice? Oh, whoops. Got the Hierophant with the Three of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Just a second here. I'm not so sure this is going to be the most healing message, okay? But it kind of feels like this is your origin story. And I'm sorry, it just makes me want to cry. And I'm not sure why. So I'm sorry. It just feels like this is kind of part of your origin story. It's part of what you'll tell down the road that got you to where you are. And I feel like that's kind of a crappy explanation, right? It's like, that's great that down the road it's going to be a source of strength for you. It's going to be something that it's like one of the pillars that you build yourself on. But I feel like that's not where you are right now. And I almost want to say, like, if you're hurt, and you are avoiding feeling the hurt, I feel like the message here is it's like to let yourself feel how you feel. You know what I mean? It's like, if there's times where you feel like, oh, you know what, I just might stay single permanently, or I just might not be open to that sort of thing. It doesn't mean that you have to get lost in that kind of feeling or those emotions, but I feel like the more you push it away, it is going to keep coming back. It doesn't feel like it necessarily gets bigger. It's like it doesn't get bigger, it just becomes constant. And it's almost like that may be a little bit more challenging to deal with, because it's like you're constantly having to beat back that thought, that feeling. And I mean, it's obvious in the cards that you're going through a healing process. Sometimes the healing process is one that's really focused on, like, love. And I feel like this one for you is kind of focused on releasing. So I feel like the most potent message I'm seeing here, is that you are you, okay? You are the person that is going to make something out of this. There are times where you're going to want to give up. There's times where you're not going to want to keep going. And I feel like I actually kind of admire your mindset, because it's like when you get into that space, I feel like you're looking at it like, no, that's not an option. It's not an option. And it's like, now this may not be the actual situation, but it's the energetics of it. It's like when you tell your story to people. Damn it, I'm gonna cry again. Sorry, I don't really know why. I don't know where that's coming from. So I feel like when you tell your story to other people, it feels like it's one of those things where it's like it leaves people silent. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like it's a shocking reality that you've had to live. And I feel like people, when they find out what your story is, there's a different level of respect, because it's like, not only do you have to do what everybody else has to do, but you had to walk out of this. So I think I'll leave it there, Virgo. I don't know what to say. At the risk of sounding trite, I feel like you probably don't even need anyone to say this, but if this is you, I admire what you're doing. I really do. I love you very much, Virgo, and I'll be thinking of you guys. Much love. Bye.